Hello, welcome to Holly's Marketing Memo. Today we're going to talk about using color, consistency, and repetition to build and support your brand. Imagine this. You just opened a new bar called Best Friends Bar and Grill. It's a dog-friendly hangout. You want to find some ways to introduce yourself to the community and build brand awareness. You made a logo that you're excited about. It looks like this. Cute little dog prints, cute little human footprints. You hired 4 local college kids to be your bartenders. You've decided that to help the community understand that Best Friends is associated with dogs, you'll have some puppy training classes there. All 4 of your student bartenders are marketing, design, or communication students. They're eager to help you advertise these classes. So we've got Brody. He's a marketing and sales major. We have Susie. She's a communications major. We have Quark. He's a graphic design major. And we have Sky. She's a marketing major. You made friends with other business owners on your block, and they have all encouraged you to bring them some posters about the puppy training classes you'll be offering soon so they can display them for you. You need posters for the library, a coffee shop, the laundromat, and other businesses to display. You like the idea of having some variety instead of just one poster choice. You figure that it could help to draw in a wider audience. The students all want to help make the posters. You understand the importance of building a cohesive look, so you give them some guidelines. You tell them, do these digitally, not by hand with markers or crayons. Use an image of a real person, not a cartoon, with a dog. Have the image at the top of the poster, then explain about the program. Make the poster vertical, not horizontal. Under the image, include some information about the program. Include the logo and a QR code. Include the address and phone number. So you have been very specific in what you'd like, and you even provided them with the exact wording to use for the program benefits. Because you've been so specific, you're confident that the posters will look cohesive. To give them some creative freedom, each student gets to choose their own photo and come up with a short, clever headline. So let's take a look at what they came up with. Okay, we've got Brody's poster. It looks pretty good. The headline that Brody chose says, "Your dog," but even better, it shows a guy with his dog. If we look a little closer, we notice that Brody is using about 5 different fonts. That might be a little heavy, but it doesn't look so bad. Let's take a look at Susie's poster. Susie is our communications major. Susie, she went with kind of a pinkish, purplish background. She's got her poster of a woman hugging her dog. It's in a circle. Her slogan is "More cuddles, less puddles." That's pretty cute. We've got quite a lot of font variety here as well. Let's take a look at Quark's poster. Quark is our graphic design major. His slogan he went with is "Man's best friend for a reason." Looking pretty good. It might be a little tough to read the words since he's got them juxtaposed on top of the image, but doesn't look too bad. And then if we take a look at Sky's poster, she's a marketing major. She's got a yellow background. She's got some paw prints that she added. Oh, her slogan is "Who says it's hard to make new friends?" She's got quite a bit going on. Okay, so we've got these 4 posters. So all 4 of the students followed the guidelines pretty closely. Even so, the results are not cohesive at all. So let's take a look at these 4 posters together. When you put them all together, it really hits you how different, these 4 students, what their visions were for this. And that's to be expected, but they really don't look very cohesive together. And honestly, these posters don't look like they're even all from the same business. And despite each student following the guidelines, they're not helping to build a cohesive brand. What could be done to help give the community a better first impression and understanding of the Best Friends Bar and Grill brand? So choosing one of these designs and using it as a template to model all the others after could work. Another option is to use a program like Canva. This video is not, sponsored or endorsed by Canva, but I'm just saying it's a nice, simple program that helps make things easy. So a program like that comes with built-in templates you can use. Using the photos and taglines that the students chose, a Canva template, and a consistent, limited selection of professional-looking fonts, here's a look at how each poster could be redone in a consistent way to match the others. So we're going to go back to Brody's poster, and we're going to take a look at it with this particular template that has some color blocking that we decided to go with. We're going to apply his design choices to that template. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's take a look at Susie's original design. All right, looking good. Same thing with Quark and same thing with Sky. And let's compare the whole original group of posters to the new group. So back to our original group of 4 really different looking posters. And now let's take a look at those redesigned posters that we just saw all together. Wow, what a difference, right? Let's pop back, take a look, and let's pop ahead. I think most people would agree that the second group of posters looks much nicer together. Their consistency helps people recognize that each poster is from the same bar. By making 4 different posters that all look related, Best Friends Bar and Grill is starting to build some brand recognition. If they had designed just one poster and displayed it around the neighborhood, people would learn about the bar and its dog training program. But they may not have remembered as much about the bar or its program as they would remember if there was a repeating set of advertisements about them. And if all the original, very mismatched looking posters had been displayed, people may have been confused or thought that the posters weren't even from the same bar. But by creating this consistent, cohesive campaign, Best Friends Bar and Grill is starting to build some brand legitimacy and memorability. What could they do to make the posters look even more cohesive? To remind you, here they are again. The mix of bright color blocking in these posters may work perfectly for Best Friends Bar and Grill, but it's still not as cohesive as it could be. How about adding a cohesive color palette to all 4 posters? If the logo had colors in it, pulling from that could make sense. A good idea is to decide on a color palette early on, making note of the color numbers, not just dark blue or magenta, but the specific Pantone or hexadecimal numbers, and sticking with those colors for everything from interior design choices to web design to print design. What's also nice about doing it that way is that if you have more than one person who's working on something, people don't always have the same idea of what dark blue is or what magenta is or what mustard is. But this way, if you're working with a designer or a coworker, there's no question about it. There's a list and these are the colors and that's what we use. So I'm going to recommend that if you want to build some brand consistency. If, for instance, Best Friends Bar and Grill was using a color palette of a specific shade of dark blue and deep mustard, these could be applied to all the posters so they would feel even more cohesive. So let's take a look at how that would look. Very nice, right? If Best Friends Bar and Grill doesn't have a color palette that they've decided on, a trick to make the posters work is to pull some color from the images and use it elsewhere in the poster. Adobe programs like InDesign and Photoshop have the Eyedropper tool to make that easy. Canva makes it easy too by showing a palette of some of the colors used in the image. Here are some of the posters, or excuse me, here are the same posters, but using colors pulled from each image for the color blocking. So as you can see, there's still a very cohesive look to these. If you're confused about how we chose these colors, I'll show you. So if you look closely at this poster here, for example, and you take a look at the peach color, kind of peachy, I don't know, tan, kind of apricot color on the right color block, that is taken right from the women's sweater. If you take a look at the bluish grayish color block on the left, that is pulled right from the couch. Even though these 4 posters don't share a color palette, they feel very consistent with one another since each has cohesion within its own color palette. Okay, let's look at how far we've come. We started with these 4 posters. They looked really, really different. They had, arguably different levels of skill applied to them, and these just did not look like they were from the same place. Then we redid them using a template. Wow, so much cohesion, and they really look like you're telling a story that all fits together. And then we decided, what if we want to refine it even more? We've got, a little bit of color palette pulling, and then finally we applied the same 2 colors to all the posters. And between our last 3 options here, we scroll back and forth. Any of these are a major improvement over the first group. So kind of up to you what path you want to go, how far and buttoned up you want to take it. But, I think it's really up to you and your brand. But again, anything's better than changing your design and your whole feel every single time. So, yeah. Okay, nice, right? Now that you've got some great ideas about how to use color, consistency, and repetition to build and strengthen your brand, what's next? If you have some upcoming marketing tips that you'd like me to cover, just let me know. Comment below and subscribe to stay in the marketing loop. Thanks for stopping by.